Morning everybody. How's it going? I see that people are already in saying hello, well done. You're up and organised earlier than me. Hope you've caught some this morning. Is the sound good, guys? Is the video good? I'm going to try and keep it light today. I'm in a good mood, it's Friday. We've made it. We've all made it to the end of the month and the end of the quarter. So if you've done that, give yourself a pat on the back. I reckon you've done better than probably 80% of the other retail traders out there that apparently lose 90% of their account balance within 90 days. So if you're still here, give yourself a pat on the back, guys. We've made it. It's the first day of a new month, the first day of a new quarter. And it's a Friday, which is a bit interesting, isn't it? I always think they're interesting when you get the first day of a month on a Friday. It doesn't feel right, does it? Something just feels a bit off. You expect the first day of a month to be a Monday, really, or a Tuesday, maybe. But good morning. So my account is at new highs. Am I happy about it? No, because it should be at way bigger amounts. I've looked back this week and I should have done a lot better than I did. But I'm still here. The volatility hasn't killed me. The way that I trade protects me from that massively. And also, guys, right, I've had loads of people getting in touch over the last 24 hours. I've had a few emails, some direct messages, and it sounds like, I don't know if I've helped in my own little way, and if I have, then brilliant. But it just sounds like I'm helping people to sort of realize that you don't need to be these trading every entry, every exit, junkie type things, and you can sit and hold a position if you get it right, and it's just way less stressful. And obviously, you make the market work for you rather than you trying to work the market. So it's really pleasing. I had a lovely email last night that I read. Just got back to the guy this morning. It was good. But what I will say is, if you are trying to hold these positions, this week has been it's been, the ranges have increased significantly, which has meant that if you have managed to hold till 9, you've done fantastically well. This strategy of mine, it's not always as fruitful. There's lots of times where you'll just take like a 1R or a 1.5R. Obviously, the ranges have really picked up. So it's been a good week if you've been able to hold amongst all the volatility. First, before we start and have a laugh, let me just tell you what's happened with my account, just to update you all. This is the entries from yesterday, to keep it all nice and open. Now, yesterday I didn't do very well, really, but I had a couple of scales out. My first entry yesterday was at 15.321. It was, I think it was a pinpoint entry, and I started to scale out as we hit the 250 mark. But what threw me off yesterday is, and I've said it to you about my strategies, I try and take into account the initial balance in the Dow. My entry is in here. Let me just zoom in so you can all see it and get this off the chart so it doesn't take your eye somewhere else. But my entry is in this point here. You might have all thought that I was entering in here. But let's draw the IB in so you can see how I was actually trading this market yesterday. So that's the IB low. Remember, I used the 8 o'clock candle. That's the IB high at that point there. Now, I always say to you that I take the second move out of the balance. But for me, we didn't move out of balance here on this drop. For me, that was, we never got a close outside of balance, which means that we're still potentially inside balance. So this is the first leg out for me here, and I don't like to trade the first leg. It's one of them. So I would always wait for a market to sort of pull back first of all and give me a proper sort of pullback over a period of time, and then I would look to try and get on a short if possible and look for the extension lower. The clean break, though, this is what I was looking at. The clean break of balance here, that was obviously, that made me think, right, okay, they're not messing around. We've had a clean break of balance. It looks like it could go. But again, my strategy put me in at the low of the day here, and there's no way I was selling that low. I just wasn't doing it. But I managed to sort of keep my head in check. We rotated back up here, and on this turn, like it was similar to the turn that happened in Subway the other day, it looked very similar. We sort of have a very weak leg up, and we turned here, and in these 3 candles here, in this bit of price action, I actually got short. I think I'm in here in this candle short, and I had my stop over this high or this high, but it was about a 25 point stop, anyway, and it was basically, if the market went above here, I would have been stopped out. I thought technically, from a technical perspective, that if the market would have taken out this high and this high, it was way more likely that we would push back into balance on that, on that day. But what happened was, I actually went through to our profit. Now, if you can see, if my entry is in here and my stop it was around that point there. So if you look at this, I was 2R up and I saw us hit this 50 mark at 5250, which is in here, just as the American markets opened, and the Dow held at its IB, right? So I'm looking at this thinking to myself, right, okay, I moved my stop into break even after 2R anyway, so I moved my stop to break even. I scalped out a little bit here at the 50 mark, as you can see. As you see my scalp outs, one was at 247, which was more or less the low of that rotation. The other was at 255, because I just wasn't confident that we were going to hold. At this point, all of this price action here hasn't happened, by the way. And we got this massive move up, this huge move up. It was like 1, 2, 3 green candles. It stopped me out for break even here, right? Now, did I do anything wrong? No, I didn't. Did I miss out on a massive load of profits by the close? Yes, I did. But you can beat yourself up about it all day, but I stuck to my rules. If you flip over to the Dow, and I can just show you exactly what was going on. So the Dow, right, it's in here at the same period. Now this is the Dow IB here that I drew in. It's the same one that I use every day, the first 15 minutes. It looked to me like we weren't going to do anything. And this is when sometimes your strategy just slightly, like all the times it saved you, it just slightly lets you down. Could I have jumped back in short again? Yeah, I could, but that wouldn't have been part of my strategy, would it? The US 500, the S&P, the SPOOs, or the ES, if you trade the futures, was doing exactly the same. At that point in time, there was no way that I would have known that all of this would have happened. It did happen. I got stopped out for break even on my remainder. My account's gone up slightly to 3386, which I think just takes me over. I forgot the percentage now increase, but I'm happy with that. It was one of them days where I couldn't have done anything about it. I've obviously could have traded it better, discretionary maybe, but like there's so many times where my strategy has stopped me from losing money discretionary. So I'm just trying to keep away from that. I've seen in the chat that there's loads of people that are obviously doing okay and they're sort of taking these trades above and below balance, and they've sort of got their own way of doing it now. There's loads of ways that you can plot indicators on this to give you an entry outside of balance. There really is. So it's just about sticking to it. But what I will say is, from my experience, this volatility that we're seeing this week, it can dry up in an instant, and you've got to just keep going, because there'll be days like where every day this week's been a big mover, but when I'm looking back through my sequences of my strategy, you'll get 3 days where the market doesn't move and you just get stopped out. And it's at that point, it's all very easy trading the strategy at the moment because the market's moving, really aggressively to one side of, and it's a straight line in everywhere. And it suits this type of momentum strategy. But all I'm saying is just make sure that when the market volatilities rise up and you don't really get the days where you get the expansion type moves, just make sure that you stick to it, because what normally happens is you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you might lose, but then on the Thursday it might make a 5-hour winner. Now on them days you've got to make sure that you stick to taking, to holding it on till the end of the day, because that's when you really have to sort of trade the strategy properly, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm just trying to warn people that you might get frustrated in a month or two once the volatility dries up, or even next week it could happen. You might think, oh God, I'm holding my position till 9 and it's never paying me. I wished I would have gone back to taking 2-hour profit or 1.5-hour profit. But the minute that you alter that, the minute that you stop doing that, will be the minute that you get the big winner and you should have held, if that makes sense to anybody. So yeah, I've talked everybody through it, so let's get into it. Have you seen this, by the way? This is huge. Look at that on the 4-hour. Look at that low there getting swept. It is such a lovely level, that is. And how I would have traded it this morning if I was using a discretionary system, if you look at the low of that 5-minute candle there, as it's gone through that level, look at the turnaround. I say this all the time to people, but if you just fade that first move out of balance, it can be such a lovely trade. It really can. I've said it before. If you can set up a mechanical algo or something like that to do that with minimal risk and look for some sort of risk reward profile, because it's played out again. First move out of balance has been faded. Now, can we go back up and through the top end of balance? We definitely can. It looks like that could happen. There's the top of balance. There's your 7 a.m. high. I think if we push through here and we can roll over and potentially look for expansion, we could definitely see some action here. You've got to take into account what's going on the longer time frames, though. Not that it makes any difference at all to my overall strategy, but just keep your eye on that, because look at that 1 hour candle there through that level. It looks huge. Now, I would suggest that this could definitely have legs, and you know what? Who the hell knows? We could even just do 500 up today. We definitely could. So keep it all in mind. I know we've been down more or less every day this week, but there'd be no problem with us just going straight the way back up here to like 15,500 or something by the end of the day if it starts getting traction, especially if the US markets agree with what's going on when they wake up. But could we just roll over here and go straight back down? Yes, we could. Nothing would surprise me this week. It has been one of them weeks. It's just been, and it's so strange, isn't it, that I was thinking about this last night. The market always finds your weak spot, doesn't it? So like yesterday for me, right, moving my stop to break even, like that sort of helped me. I'm going to go back through my results as well. Like probably since the start of the year, and look at how many times that's helped me, and if it's cost me, and update that start. When I put it in later on, I will update it all and have a look and go through and check it out, because like that for me was a weak spot yesterday. I've moved my stop to break even after being up 2R, and the market sniffed that out, and then it said to me, you've been a naughty boy there. You're trying to protect your downside, and I'm not going to allow you to make any money today. Like, I did make a bit because I scalped out of it, but I didn't make as much as I should have. So whatever you try and do to sort of keep yourself sane, to try and put any sort of, rules in place, if they're rules that sort of revolve around being fearful of making a loss, the market will always sniff it out. And you know what will happen? The next time I don't do it, it will steam straight through there and stop me out. It really will do. So it's just such a bitch. But I knew that yesterday when I got stopped out for break even. It's one of them. I knew that as soon as it did it, I just knew that it was going to go straight back down to where it was before it had stopped me out, and it did. And it's just what the market does. It just knows. It knows everybody's weak spots. It's so strange. It's the most intelligent thing in the world, the market is. And you can try and come up with every single plan to try and keep you out of it and to try and keep you safe, but it always sniffs you out. It always does. One thing for me, though, I would always say is, the market always knows when I try and get in bigger as well. Like in the past, when I've always tried to sort of, if my accounts got bigger or I've trusted myself with more money, the day where I've gone, right, okay, I'm gonna go big here. Like a trade, if I'm gonna go big here, I'm gonna put more on, or I'm gonna risk a little bit more. It seems to know, like it knows, and you can guarantee that if you're ever starting off with a bigger account, you will always start off with losses, and it just always sniffs out. It's trying to work out if you're up to it, if you can handle that bigger account, and it will always make you lose the first 2 or 3 trades just to see if you're all right, just to see if you can cope with it. And if you can't, like, that's when most people blow up, in my experience. So let's get into the comments, guys. Just have a quick drink. Got a cup of tea here. Oi, oi, Kenny Powers, how you doing? I think Sierra was in here yesterday, and he was saying that. So let's get into it. Look at that there, that trap through IB. Look at that. Wowzers. Look at that. Oh dear, oh dear. The Bears have still not left the room, guys. Look at that. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. Let's see what happens with that. It's interesting, isn't it? I love this type of stuff. Look at that. If that's not a trap, I will give up trading and become a ventriloquist. It's absolutely horrendous. If you've just pressed long going through there, have you done your arse or what? I'd suggest you have, to be fair. It's what I say, I don't like to buy new highs. It really isn't a very nice experience because there's so many times you just get faded. But I would say there's high odds on that being a trap and us rotating down underneath this low. So that might play out, it might not. Don't trade off it if you're thinking you're gonna get short unless it's already in your strategy. It's just something that I'm sort of passing judgment on. But if you press long in here, have you done your arse or what? Oh dear, it's Friday and you've already done your arse at 9 o'clock. That looks naughty, that does. Could it just carry on going straight up though? Yeah, it definitely could. So where's the Y fronts? I was thinking about wearing a pair on my head, Matty. old Y fronts on my head as a hat. Good morning, Abes, Demo Trader, Mark, Williams, Nick, how you doing? Morning, everybody. Morning, Dave. Morning, Kerim. So this is potentially another edge for people as well, right? If you're trading on a smaller time frame, let's say you're trading on a 1 minute or a 2 minute time frame, if you were to take after every balance has been broken, if you were to take the moving average across, let's just get some moving averages up, and you were to take the moving average cross down beneath it, it sounds so stupid that it would work, but people don't see it, and I just think they think that moving averages don't work. But let's just get a moving average up and put 20 and 5 on because they're my favourites. Not for any reason, but just because the numbers just mean something for me. So as you can see, right, yesterday, there's your bottom of balance. Now I will say that that's the bottom of balance. Some people disagree and say that the balance is smaller because that's the that's the first 8 minute. Sorry, I can't get my words out. That's the first 8 o'clock candle, and that shouldn't be included. But I would disagree. I would say that it is, right? So let's just say that you traded the moving average cross after you'd seen a cross to the upside, and then you get a cross to the downside. Why? Because the cross to the upside is a trap, and you're taking the continuation of the balance expansion to the downside because we're beneath the balance. So can you see that there, right? The cross to the upside, I look at that as a trap. Why? Well, because we're beneath balance and we're looking for expansion to the downside. So you take the cross short here, okay? So you might have got an entry in this point here with your stop above that high there. Can you see that if you would have just held, let's say you just hold it until the American session opens up, you would have had a winning trade. Once the American session opens up, you take the next cross to the downside, you would have had another winning trade. Trading can be so simple and so easy if you add the context to it that you're looking for. And moving averages probably don't work if you take every one, but if you can build that into an overall context of a market that should be expanding up or down because it's telling you that, it's broke its balance, which means the least, the path of least resistance is to the upside or the downside once we broke out of that balance, then it can be so simple. And it can be something that you don't have to watch all day trading. You don't have to sit here watching. You can go onto any platform, Pro Real Time, IG, TradingView. You can get an alert-based system where you will get an email or a push notification if this happens. And you don't have to. You could do another job. You could do anything, and it's basically, you don't really need to watch, do you? You've had your cross, you've got your entry, but you put your stop in, and it either stops you out or you get an email saying that you've hit your take profit target if it's 2R, 3R, 4R, or if you want to leave it on to the all day, you come back in at 9 o'clock. If you want to leave it on until the American session's open, you come back in at 2:30 and you just look at it and you either take profit or you've been stopped out. If that can help anybody and keep them away from digging themselves a hole all day, I just think it's the right way to trade. You're waiting for the market to give you its signals rather than you trying to actively force your opinion on the market. And I just think that it's the way to trade. Unless you're a very good discretionary trader, for me, I find that it's the right thing to do. So have a look at it. See if you can try and build something in. Like that one that I showed people yesterday about the pivot points. You can make that algo type mechanical if you wanted to. You definitely can. There's definitely profit in it. You don't have to look at the market all day. You just put an alert in, and if we're hitting the pivot point, we take the trade. If we don't, You know, I'm not even looking at it. I'm getting on with my job. It might be some, you know, like you might have another job, another career. So have a look at it, guys. Let's see what's going on. Hi Ian, how you doing, bud? Let's get these moving averages off. See what happens here at this trap. But for me, there's nothing to do, is there, guys, because we're in balance now. We're firmly in balance. But as I've said, if you can fade, like look at that today, right? You've got 2 entries there. 2. There's your first entry. There's your second entry on that trap there. So you see that candle? This one, this one. So let's just say if you got long here and you took profits at 50% of the balance area, I think 50%. Let's just work it out. 50% is going to be here, right? Yeah. So you would have taken your profits on this one at 50%, and then now you would be short here, and you'd be looking at taking your profits at this 50%, or scaling out as you go into profit. I'm sure there is money in it. I'm so positive of it. It's unbelievable. You need to check it out. You need to put the work in and have a look at it, and obviously back test it manually, and look at fading these balances, because same as say, the first push out of either side, I tend to see is a trap. So I don't trade that way, by the way, but it's something that somebody could add to their strategy. Or, you know, if you're trading the expansion out of it, the second one out of it, could you add this to your strategy by trading the mean reversion of the first push out? Does that make sense to everybody? And I see these days happen more often than expansion days, by the way. This is way more common than an expansion day. It really is. And we're just going through a period in time at the moment over the last probably 10 days where we've seen more expansion days than this type of stuff. So if you can build something, have a look at it. There's definitely some positives there. There really is. And we'll definitely, you know, like even if you traded a moving average cross on a shorter time frame, just the first one after we broke through balance, back into balance, surely there's something that someone can pull. And you know what's going to happen, guys? The day that you fade it, you'll get stopped out, right? We all know that's going to happen, don't we? But it's not about the first, second, third or fourth trade. It's about the sequence of 100 or a 500 or 1,000. So don't be put off, right? Don't be put off with if you come into something and you've made a strategy and you take a beating all week trading it, because that's just how things happen. You know, they're just how the sequences come about. And I can guarantee the day that you start, it will be the day that you lose, right? Because that's just trading at the end of the day. That's just how the market sort of always tries to mess around with everybody. But there's definitely something there. $8.45 candle low tapped the 10 EMA. Let's have a look. Look at that for a trap, by the way. Lovely, just beautiful. Really good. Should I have been short that discretionary? Yes, definitely. Look, it's going. So, you know, like there was potentially 50 ticks there for me. I saw that setting up and thought, yep, that's balls deep short. That would be definitely. Mine, you know, like discretionary trading, what I used to do, that would be a balls deep short for me. Have I made any money? No. Could my guru plan come out Monday and be wanting $59 a month? Yes. See you all Monday morning. Get your credit cards ready. But this is it, isn't it? Anybody can call the market. It's trading it, the execution, which is key. But yeah, what a trap. Lovely. So right, let's just have a bit of fun now, guys. I've had some guy, by the way. I don't know if anybody knows this dude. Let's just call him out. So this guy's like all of him a DM saying like silly stuff because somebody's like mentioned him. Somebody's mentioned him in the. I don't know why, but I don't even know who he is. And somebody that follows me's mentioned him when I said, "Can you call a guru scammer out or something?" And they've left his name in a thing, but I don't follow him. I don't know who he is. Let me just say his name, see if anybody recognises him. If you do, let's just talk about it, because he's obviously triggered about something, and I think he's only triggered because he's probably worried that someone's like, you know, cottoned on to what he's up to. So his name is Mike Patterson, right? Mike Patterson FX, and on his profile picture he's got like a summer hat on and he's got a goatee beard, and he's like Markeith Mellon needs to justify these unscrupulous claims that are in my credentials subservice. And he's like, just seeing this, if you've got an issue with me, then state on what facts it's based on, and I'll happily offer my reply, as I've said elsewhere on another thread, and to which you have cowardly offered no response. I have nothing to hide, and I won't have my name sullied. All right, mate, Mike, calm down. I haven't said anything, mate, right? Somebody has tagged you into one of my threads. I don't even know who you are, mate. I like your hat. I like your goatee beard. Your profile picture's very nice. You look like a cool geezer. But I have not said nothing. I don't know why you're so worried, though. And you being so worried about this is making me, you know, look into what you've been tweeting out, because somebody's obviously seen something and they think you might be some type of guru. Now, I've looked at his Twitter page this morning, and, you know, he says he's ex-UBS and Credit Suisse FX trader, aka his name was Oscar. He was a writer co-owner at Forex Live. Right, okay, well that means fuck all. So you can write a few blogs, can you? Okay, brilliant. But if he's an ex-UBS and Credit Suisse trader, what's he doing on Twitter? Like, after subs, like, should he not be retired? Should he not have his own island in the Bahamas if he was good at his job? You know, like, if I'm ex-UBS, like, the salaries that them guys get paid in Credit Suisse is massive, right? So why is he peddling his guru services on Twitter? Think about it. But when you go down and have a look at his tweets, he does come across as very, very sort of unopaque. You know, like, he's never wrong. And the other day, like, he's saying he thinks the low's in on the pound, but then when it goes lower, he's banking pips. He's like, I'll read one of his tweets out, because I don't mind calling these guys out. He's the one that's called me out, right? I had no beef with this guy at all. None, actually. I don't even know him. I don't even know who follows him. So, one of his tweets, right, says that some pips banked again. He never gives a stop. He never gives an entry. And then he's put, not getting greedy down here, though, as if, like, that's it. That's the end of the move. And then later in the day, he's like, oh, yes, I've made bank loads of pips. I did say that we were going to get weaker and weaker and weaker. But in his previous tweet, he's like, not getting greedy down here, guys. I'm out. So, like, obviously, whoever's tagged me into this little debate has seen that he's potentially, you know, like, trying to pull the wool over people's eyes. And he's the one that's actively called me out, saying that he won't have his name, you know, like, dragged through the mud or whatever. But I'm just reading some of his tweets out there, like, so you can see for yourselves, like, the sort of stuff that he's saying. So don't call me out, mate, because same as say, like, I'm not selling anything. I haven't got anything to hide. I'm not a guru, and I will look through your threads and I will make you look a bit of a cunt, because that's how you're acting, not me, right? So, Mike, got no beef, like your hat, like your goatee, but just shut up, man. Stop being after all these subs of these stupid tweets. You're ex-UBS. Go and retire. Bank your millions of dollars or pounds or whatever. And go and enjoy your life, man. I don't know who called him out, by the way. His name's Mike Patterson FX. Check him out. I don't know what his beef is. I've got no beef with anybody. I aren't selling anything. So, at the end of the day, I can call anybody out. They're the ones that need to be worried, not me. So don't get in my DMs and don't, come on here saying that I'm saying anything about you, because I hadn't up until this morning. But all that's going to do is it's going to obviously make me look through your tweets and have a look at you. I don't even know who you are, buddy. Yeah, he's probably going to block me anyway. But the thing is, though, Dave, I've never had an argument with him. I've never had a debate with him. I don't even know him. I've never followed him. Don't know who he is. But, like, he's the one that's saying that I'm a coward. I don't even know him. So, like, it's time for me to obviously start looking through some of his tweets, isn't it? If he's calling me a coward. Basically. I can't have that. We can't have that, guys. I like his hat, though. To be fair. Pretty cool. Ex-UBS could have been sacked. Yeah, maybe he could have, right? Maybe he could have. But I'm very, very sort of... Anybody that's got that in the bio and stuff like that, for me... If you're ex-UBS, call some live trades out. Give us your stop. Give us your entries. Like, what you're so afraid of. That's where it gets me. That's where it all falls down for me. Ex-UBS, ex-Goldman, all that type of stuff. It's all just a sales tactic. If you're ex-UBS or you're ex-Goldman, why are you selling services? Obviously, you weren't very good at your job. Why have they got rid of you? Have you turned the pay rise down that they've given you? Think about it logically, guys, right? If you're ex-UBS or ex-Goldman, you're ex-UBS or ex-Goldman for a reason. These gurus will say, oh, well, it was because I was a bit stressed out, or, I couldn't handle, the money was too much. I was being paid too much salary. I couldn't handle it. All the millions of dollars that they were paying me, it was just too much. I couldn't take it. Right, okay, mate. More like you did your arse and they got rid of you because you're shit. Like, if you're UBS or Goldman and you're good at your job, they keep you. They don't get rid of you. So think about it logically. They're getting paid millions of dollars and pounds, these guys. Like, they're at the top echelons, right? It's like a Premier League football club, right? Why do they get rid of their best star players? Because they're not good enough anymore, or because they get old, so they get rid of them. Because they're no longer, like up to like the standard that it takes to be. So they get rid of them. If you're still at that standard and you're still earning that company money and you're doing the right thing for them, they're just going to keep paying you more and more money. So why would you get off that gravy train and be on Twitter selling services? You wouldn't, unless you were made to. But they'll use all the excuses in the world. Oh, they relocated me. Oh, the pressure was too much. I couldn't take it. Okay, mate. Of course. Yeah, no problem. So that's why you're on Twitter then. It should be down to that. So you're not getting more stress now you're doing sub-services. You're not getting more stress now you're supposedly actively trading the market yourself. Like, why would you do that? Why would anybody want to come and trade the markets themselves with their own money when they're in with a massive firm who are backing them and giving them loads of money and paying them a huge salary? Why are they on Twitter selling services? It's obvious, isn't it, without pointing it out. So yeah, let's do some more guru bashing. I'm into it now. Anton Creel, that guy. Yeah, exactly. So why did they get rid of him? Probably because he's a right fiend, he is. I've heard some stories about him. Likes his white powder. Yeah, that's it, guys. That's it, exactly. They are terrible, they really are. But I would just suggest that if anybody's offering services of any type and they've come from a big firm and they've got it in the bio, they've been fired from that service, or they're no longer required at that service. That big players, like JP Morgan, Goldman, UBS, they're no longer required to, they don't want them there anymore. It's probably because they're not very good. And it's the easiest thing in the world, isn't it, to jump on Twitter and put that in your bio. Oh, oh yeah, I was being paid too much money. Really, really not happy about it. Couldn't handle the £1 million salary, so I'm on Twitter now. I'm trading myself now. Couldn't handle a £1 million salary. Too much stress. So now I'm punting the DAX or punting the S&P with my own money. Like, that's not as much stress. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. I'm not mentioning any names, by the way, because there's some on Twitter that are like, they're all over it. Ex-Goldman, ex-UBS. All right, mate. They're just that. It's just a sales tactic to draw people in. That's all it is. It means that, like, people will think that they know what they're talking about. When if they knew what they were talking about properly, they'd still be at Goldman or they'd still be at UBS, wouldn't they? Right, okay, yeah, change. So that's the guy. I think somebody's tagged me in because I was joking and said, who's disliked my video? Joking, because I thought it was quite funny. Right, I actually thought it was really funny when I saw that one dislike. That cracked me up. It was funny because I was thinking to myself, someone's either bantering me or they've obviously, it's just a good one. That's it. That's what's happened, right? Now I don't even follow that guy. I don't know him, but he's obviously calling me out, saying I'm a coward. So I'm just trying to obviously reply back. That's it. But it is what it is. I'll let it go. I'll let it slide. Yeah, that does happen. There's a massive Circle Jerk demo trader in it, so like they will all be in it together. Basically, that's how it works. They do act like a cult and a community. So, and half these people, by the way, they've all got different Twitter accounts. There was one lunatic the other day that was on YouTube, and he was messaging me, and I know it's this dude, and he's got another account. There's ways of finding out, by the way, of anybody who's got 2 or 3 accounts, and you can do it. I'm not going to tell people how you do it, but you can see it very easily. Someone told me a while ago, so that if you're ever arguing with one of these gurus, you can put in something on Twitter that will tell you if that person's got another account and potentially what that account is. I won't tell anybody, but this guy's talking to me from another account, saying to me that this other account is the best account ever. He's earned this much money. He's done this. He's done that. He's done this. But he's talking to me from another account, and it's the same guy. So he's like, let's say we've got Brian over here who's a great trader. Well, Adam is actually Brian, but Adam's saying that Brian is the best trader he's ever seen and he's done really well since he's been in his community, but it's actually Brian. Like, these are the depths that people go to try and convince people that, like their room or their trading is good or they can trade. So you're actually arguing with somebody about whether this person's a guru, and you're arguing with the guru. It's unbelievable. Like, the depths that they go to try and convince people to part with the money for their services. It's unbelievable. It really is. It's crazy. There's so many of it about. It's unbelievable. Twitter is an absolute snake pit. It's a den of vipers. And for the new traders that are coming along that think all of this is like all legit and everybody's talking like, from the bottom of the heart, and it's all above board. It's all, like people are being very truthful and they're seeing people say, oh yeah, he's really good. He's done this. He's done that. It's probably that that's probably the guru. You don't see it all though. You don't see it all until you've been on it for a year or two. And then what normally happens is you end up joining a couple of these groups, and then you realise, I'm not making any money, but these seem to all be. Something doesn't smell right here. And then you start to realise that, like it's all a massive con, really. So yeah, everybody's just fishing for it, aren't they? Everybody's fishing for that money off people. It's what makes the world go round, though, isn't it, money? But I just want to do it by trading. Does that sound crazy to anybody? Does that sound like, is that not what we're all here to do? I just want to make my money by being a good trader, if I can. Like, how crazy is that of me to suggest that that's what people should be really trying to do? Let's have a drink. There's nothing going on here, guys. That would have been another good trade there, wouldn't it? Back into the 50% of the range. You would have just been filled on your take profit there, I think. Yeah. I've got no problem with that guy, by the way. I've got a problem with the fact he's calling me a coward when I've done nothing wrong to him. I like his heart. He looks like a cool geezer. But, if he's calling me a coward and then he's the one that's stating he's like UBS and ex-Credit Suisse and stuff, like, come on, mate. What are you doing selling services then? You should be retired, shouldn't you? On your Bahamas island. So let's just leave it at that. I aren't interested in trying to get into a debate with him on Twitter. He sounds like he's an absolute lunatic, to be fair. So guys, is anybody doing anything? Have we got any other trades going? Are we up the week? Are we up on the week? I'm up on the week, which is good. So I'm taking the positives out of that. I am up on the week. Pretty happy with that one, to be honest with you. it's a tough one today, isn't it now? Because you've got, obviously if you're trying to trade discretionary, that is, you've got this low that's held here, this low. Now, that to me, do you want to be short anymore? Looking at that, I don't know if you would. But when you look at the daily and the price action that we're seeing on the daily, it looks like this could go way lower, way lower. Now, if you're long here, if you're trying to get long in here with this above and this type of structure above, I don't know, man. I think you're braver than me for trying to get long at the bottom of there. Could this just go straight back up to there? Definitely. But it just looks, and I know we did here after taking out this low, and we just went straight back up. But at this moment in time, this does look horrendous. It really does. And if you're buying these lows down here, you're a braver man than me. I don't think I would be interested in it myself. I would much prefer to see some type of move up and then retest. Maybe a move up into here, into this sort of supply area, and then a move back down, and then take the move up. I just don't know. The daily looks horrendous, doesn't it? It's a tough one. Although, you know, it is what it is. It's just a trade, isn't it? You just put in a trade on and expecting this low to hold. But I don't think I would be risking my money in here, trying to think this was going to go at this point in time. This candle here would have got me in though if I was a discretionary trader, as I've said. But this would be making me really think now about my entry with this coil back in after poking above balance, coiling back in. I would probably, if I was in here, I'd have my stop move to break even now, thinking if it comes back, I don't want it. So that's just my 2 pence worth on the DAX. I would much prefer to have seen like a move through balance and a pull back. So if we could have got a leg out here and then a pull back into the top of balance, I think it would have been a lot more bullish for the day. Because for me, how I look at it is, this first leg here, if we can really push out, it shows you that like they're not bothered about the initial balance high, like it's not acting as resistance. But this candle here and pushing us straight back in now, it just means that, you know, like people are basically selling the top of that initial balance still, expecting this to roll over. But you've got the bigger picture where we've reclaimed this low. So it's a huge inflection point. This is now for the day. I will say this though, we are massively down on the week, on the weekly ATR. So it's tough. It really is. I wouldn't be able to make a decision really now, discretionary, to say what could possibly happen. For me, I'd definitely want to see a push above balance before taking any longs out though. Way too many looking for more downside. It's not usually that easy. Yeah, Jesper, it was pretty low risk at the time if you took it this morning. Yeah, it was. So that's what I was saying to you. This candle here, if I was discretionary, that would have got me in. But what are you doing with it, Jesper? Like, what's the actual trade sort of setup that you're looking at? Are you looking at holding this? Are you looking at you know, like running it all day? Have you already taken profits? So at this moment in time here now, definitely the trade was good. I would say at 8.10, I would have been looking at trying to get a long on there, definitely. But now, after you've seen it reverse here at the top of balance, what are you thinking? Let me know. I'm not trying to call anybody out. I'm just interested in how people see the markets, you know, who are different than me. What you're thinking, what you're doing with the trade now that you're in. Are you holding long? Are you thinking that the 1 hour and the 4 hour could firm up? We could push on higher? You've already taken your profits. Wow, right, okay. So, but I'm not, you know, like I'm not trying to say anything. But if you're in here and you're at a major inflection point, which is a major swing low, I would suggest that, you know, like by already, and you might be completely wrong, but by already taking your profits, like for me, the overall structure of this market here now would suggest that if you're trading this low break here, that you would be way better trying to hold on thinking that this could go to here. Am I wrong in thinking that? I don't know, but because obviously if you're getting in on the 1 hour and this level breaking here on like the higher time frames, and you're getting in from the higher time frame swing low, my point to you is you've already taken profits, and we haven't even really seen a proper move off the level yet. So I might be completely wrong on what I'm saying to you there, but that's what I would be trying to do. I would be trying to run this now, if possible, if you know what I mean. So that's what I would be thinking. So you might have already taken your profits, and that would be a good thing. But I wouldn't. What I'm saying to you is I wouldn't be surprised on the 1 hour and the 4 hour if this really runs on. Now it might not go through balance first time like it hasn't done, and it might push on again. But if you're trading a 1 hour swing low like this, and you're trading the reaction off that level, I just think that you could have, it could really run that good today for you later on today. If the American markets pick up, we could get the second push out of balance here and go, and we could really push on. This is what I'm saying to you about, like, if you're in on it, it's a major inflection point, which that possibly is. Like, can you run that for the rest of the day? Can you hold that profit for the rest of the day and really run that position? Because you might find that you might do 10 or 15 R on that today. Like if you work out, if you've gone in on that candle there, let's just have a look at it, see how big it is. So it's 33, and I assume that your stop would have been below 70, let's say. So let's just see, like, at the end of the day, if that candle's held, we'll keep that in there till Monday. If that candle's held, and you just did nothing at all, and you left it alone completely, how many R's would you have made at the end of the day? Now, you might just get stopped out. In America, we might open up, the American markets might open, we might just completely roll over and it does nothing. But even though you're trading on the 5 minute time frame, this is what I'm trying to say to people. If you're using a 1 hour chart for your, like your bias, your trade execution, you're looking at the 1 hour swing low here and thinking, right, that 5 minute candle that went through that low and then closed back through it, you're entering on a 5 minute candle to pinpoint an entry. You're not entering on a 5 minute candle to take your profits. I wouldn't have suggested, because you're using a 1 hour context or bias to take profits on. So this thing could well run to here, and you would have been in so much R. It would have been unbelievable. If that does happen, I mean, it might not do, but like that's what I'm trying to help you with there on that execution. If you're using a 1 hour for bias and context, and you dial down to the 5 minute, and you get a perfect entry like that, I would be very tempted to try and hold that as long as I could, because you could end up with huge R, huge. So you think it's going lower, do you, Wollongabba? You're up for a rollover. Good evening from Australia. What? Hi, mate. How are you doing? Maka, from a counting candles perspective, after a confirmed cycle high on the DAX daily, we've had 5 bars down, 4 equal down, 1 equal up. So we are now overextended, and a potential up is very strong. I would have to agree with you. I would. I do think we're potentially going to rotate higher. My point is that my strategy has told me that we're potentially not going to go higher until that balance high is broken. So this is what I'm trying to say. I hope it's not confusing people. So this is why I try and always keep my balance on the chart all the time and trade off it, because even though everybody's expecting higher, until we get through the top of balance, I say it to people all the time, I have never seen a trend up day below or inside balance. Never. It's not happened. It's impossible. I've never seen a trend up day if we're underneath the 7 or 8 a.m. high. Never. It's impossible. It can't happen. We can go down and reverse up through it and have a reversal day, but until we take out the 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. high of the day, you will never see an uptrend. Never. So even though everybody's expecting higher until we break the top of balance. Like the market isn't telling you that it's wanting to go higher. Now, on the higher time frames this morning, you've seen what we have seen. We can build a case, can't we? So we have seen a move through this low, a rejection, a close back above. We have seen a move down through the bottom of balance, and we have seen a rejection to stay below balance. That's what we have seen. That's what the market is telling us. That's not what we're thinking. There's no bias there. You can see that we've had a probe below balance there at 805, and that's been firmly rejected. It's also rejected going through that major 1 hour low swing point. So we're building a context, aren't we? We're building a bias into our trading. We're not just, like hitting it and we're on a whim. We've got context to it. We're trying to read what the market's telling us. So the next point, if we're bullish and this low is going to hold, is we would need to see a move out of balance. Okay, we would need to see a move out of balance, and then after that, the next point for an extension for the day, we would need to see a pullback. So we would need to take out this high here. We would need to go through it, and we would need to pull back, possibly into the American session, and we would need to see a low that would potentially hold. So we would need to go out through here like so, sweep this high. We would then need to pull back into the US session like something like so, and then we would need to extend higher when the American session agrees with the European session and this low holding. So me personally, I like to get long in this leg, this second leg. Here's your first leg out. There's a second pullback. This pullback leg, that's my long area in this area. Now it can coincide with a retest of these highs. It can coincide with a retest of balance. But as we roll back up, that's where I'll be entering long. So this is what I try and do. I try and build a context for every day, if we can, of what I want to see. Now, a lot of the times, don't trade it properly because of the volatility. It can throw you out. It can make you do all sorts of stupid shit. But until this happens, and until this market proves to me that it can take out this high here and we can go higher, I aren't trying to get in long, because this might be completely wrong of me to do. I might be stopped out. Like this high here could be the high of the day. Like we're still messing around inside balance. We could well roll over again and go and take this low out here. And this is what I'm saying about the balance and how it can help people's thinking with trying to put a context into the market. So although that most people are thinking, right, this could really, really go, it isn't at the moment, and it's not doing. So that's why I use it, and that's why it can be so useful in people's trading, because it doesn't move. That's like, like moving averages that people use. They move. They're always moving up and down, and they can sort of trick you a lot of time into thinking there's something there when it's not. Whereas this concrete context, this balance, this 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. high and low, it is set for the day and it never moves, and it's something that you can just you can get a context out of when you're looking at it. It's a relatively 150, yeah, it's a relatively biggish balance again though, isn't it? So that's something to think about. But the context is there, isn't it? So we have the context that there's risk off in the market. So you've still got to try and trade this one. So yes, guys. What's everybody up to this weekend? Is anybody doing anything good? I'm going to have a quiet weekend this weekend. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to chill. I've got my little boys football tomorrow morning at 8:45, going to a coaching session down there. But that's about it, really. Let's have a look at the chat. Let's get in and see what's going on. I'm nearly up to 1,000 subscribers, by the way, on YouTube, guys. It's quite an achievement. I know it's probably all come from Tom's input and how he tweeted that out to why you guys have sort of followed me or whatever, but I'm pretty happy with it. The followers have been going up. I've been getting some good messages as well on there. I think I've got 779 or 780. Not that I'm counting or anything, but I think that's pretty good. I actually, I do want to grow it. People say like, oh, well, you only want to grow it so that you can, sell something or you can do, but it's not. Like the messages, the emails that I've received off people who are telling me like, they're happy, it's helped their trading tremendously. It's good to see somebody that's, you know, showing the losses and the wins and the you know, like the emotional side of it. You know, like how I talk through my execution, the things I've got wrong, the things I've got right, how it helps people. Like, that's why I'm doing it. Like, that message last night that I read, you know, that made me more, from a karma perspective, that made me more money than I could have made by selling somebody something. It was good. I really enjoyed reading it. It was very positive. So I'm hopefully the more people that can jump on board and subscribe can see the real side to trading. Because if you're sat there watching like all of them gurus like Astro and that, it's just, you're just living a lie. You don't really know what the real side of it is. Because this is what it will be for most people. Like, most people aren't going to get picked up by a prop firm. Most people aren't going to get picked up by UBS or Goldman or whatever. Most people are going to be sat here on their own being a retail trader, you know, behind a desk, in a small bedroom, or maybe in a shed or in a garage. Or maybe if you're really privileged, in an office, like you can hire an office. But this is the reality. And people don't see it often enough. Like, they just don't, and they think it's very easy to do and it's all good and they're going to make thousands of pounds. They don't. So I'm hoping that more people can see this. Not for the reason that I can make money off it, but just so that it just shows the real side. Like, you know, all the emotions that you have to go through, the ups and downs of it. There's never a week that passes by where, you know, it's the only trade in the world where even if you feel like you've done a good job, you possibly could have done a lot better. Like yesterday, I was in one of them situations where I felt I did okay, played my strategy right, but could have made way more money. So you're still going to bed not happy with yourself. Like, if you're a bricklayer or you're doing something like a manual trade, if you do that day's work and you've done a good job, like, you stand back at the end of the day and you think, wow, you know, like, I've accomplished something, like, that looks beautiful. Like, or if say you fitted a kitchen or you plastered a wall or anything like that, you stand back at the end of the day and you can appreciate, you can see, you can touch, you can smell the work that you've done. You might be a chef and you've made a great meal, or you've smashed a service in a restaurant and it's all gone really good for you. But with trading, it's not like that. You can do a really good job and you still go to bed depressed and unhappy with your performance, because there's always more opportunity. And you know, like, I want people to see that. I want people to understand that this is the game that we're all playing. It's not easy. It really isn't. So I'm hoping that I can take it over 1,000. I really am. It'd be nice if I could. Hi Sam, how you doing, dude? How's the weather up Glasgow this morning, Sam? Is it good? It's grey down here in Stoke-on-Trent. When you hit 10k, you can start selling pictures of yourself. Who's doing that, Sam? Sam, you're not selling pictures of yourself, are you? Have you got any with your top off? My missus might be interested. Let me know how much you want for one. Yeah, he does. He's got a six-pack change. Hi, 100% Mark, you're very transparent, and there is only one other trader who I know is not selling anything and trades is Brian Watt, but the way he trades is not for me. Right, so Brian Watt's Tom Dante used to be friends with Brian Macker. I think they were good pals, but I think they've fallen out. I don't know what they fell out about, but I'm sure they had a disagreement about something. I've heard that Brian's a bit of a lunatic, though, to be honest with you. I wish him all the best, though, because I'm sure he's got cancer or something, which is, you know, like, that's horrible. I think he's got some sort of bad cancer or something like that. So obviously I don't know the guy, but I wish him all the best for that, and I hope he makes a fantastic recovery, because that's awful. But I've seen Brian Watt's stuff on YouTube. I have come across him. And he's the guy that sort of like trades of all crazy indicators. Like, he's got the DOM up, he's got like about 8 or 9 screens up. Does he trade the yen? He calls him the king of the yen or something like that. No, they're all lunatics, aren't they, these guys? He is a lunatic, I'm sure of it. But sometimes you've got to be a lunatic to be a trader. So I don't know Brian. I've never had anything to do with him anyway, is my point. But I hope that he's a good guy. I don't know that if he is or not. I don't even know if he's legit. I don't know. I've not had any dealings with him, but I've heard he's got cancer and stuff. So I do wish him all the best in a good recovery, in a swift one. No one's having a 6-pack in the winter. Sam, Jesus, what's going on, Sam? Talk to me. Putting a bit of weight on, a bit of puppy fat. For the winter. It's cold up there, right? You should do, Sam. It's cold in Glasgow. The climate's bad. It rains every day. It's -2. You need a bit of fat on you really, don't you? Seal fat, seal blubber to keep you warm. That's what me and Tom have got. Plenty. We could share some with you. I don't know what they fell out about, by the way, Macra. I'm not sure. I just know they had a bit of a disagreement, I think. Sure they'll make up one day. Kiss and make up. Is there something you need to tell us? No. I'm not that way inclined. I haven't got a problem with anybody that is though. But no, just appreciating Sam's 6-pack on one of his YouTube videos where he's got his top off. I'm fully Tom Danteing for winter. You'll regret it. Summer bodies are made in the winter, Sam. Summer bodies are made in the winter. I went football last night, by the way. Felt pretty good. Got the piss taken out of me a little bit though, because I tried to put a bib on, and the bib just looked like it was shrink wrapped on me. So bad. I've got too fat now that the bibs aren't even fitting me properly around my waist, and it's just really bad. And all the guys that play with me are older than me, and the bibs look all like nicely fitted on them, but I just look like a shrink wrapped banana. The bib was yellow, horrendous. Need to lose some weight. This is the other side of this job, though, isn't it? You don't really do anything, do you? You're just sitting here all day staring at a screen. And the thing is, like I say, like I won't stare at it. Now, this is the thing that I have. I don't know if it affects anybody else. So I'll say to you guys, like, oh, I won't sit there watching the DAX all day. You can bet your bottom dollar that if I'm into a trade, it's not watching it, but it's the focus. You can't focus on anything else. Like, so I might not be sitting there watching it, like staring at the screen, but I will be constantly sort of, like watching what's going on, or maybe checking my phone every 5 or 10 minutes, and if you're having a losing day, you can't go for a run. You don't feel like doing anything, like positive. You've had a losing day, you've done your arse. Now that's one thing that I do find very difficult to do. I don't know if anybody else is like that, but if I've had a losing day, right, I can't do anything positive for the rest of the day. Like, it's so difficult for me. And I think Tom struggles with that as well, because he told me the other week that he did his arse on a day. I hope he doesn't mind me telling everybody that, but he'd had a losing day. And he's like, mate, I just want to go and eat cheeseburgers and drink. Like, I think he was drinking some, I don't know if it was beer, I forgot, gin and tonics, that was it. So it's just what people do. Like, if you're having a negative day and you've been watching the market all day and you've had your arse handed to you, you just don't feel like doing anything positive. And like, my missus will say to me, like, oh, do you want to go for a walk? And I'm like, do I want to go for a walk? I just want to sit here and feel sorry for myself. I've done my arse. It's shit. I've lost money. And this is how it is. But these days, these losing days, like, you have them. You have them all the time. And they massively affect, like, how I think about the rest of the day. Now, by, like 8, 9 o'clock at night, I'll be okay. I'll have sorted myself out and I'll have got over it. And the next morning when I wake up, don't like, them losses don't enter my head. But in that daytime, why that loss, or you might be in a losing trade. That's a bad one, where you're in a losing trade and the thing just doesn't stop you out all day. But you're in this losing trade and you're constantly checking it because you're thinking, I'm going to get stopped out soon, but it never stops you out. But it keeps you in all day. So you get in at 10 o'clock, you're constantly in a losing position from the get-go. And it keeps you in there till 4 or 5 o'clock at night, and then it stops you out bang on 5. They're the worst days for me. I just prefer a nice swift stop out, I do. And then I can sort of, I'm not that negative, like, it's done, half an hour, I'm done for the day. I've been stopped out, it's great. But the ones that just keep you in all day and then stop you out, oh, they're horrible. Can't do anything. I'm just stuck. And then I just want to be like a big fat slug just on my sofa, just sat there, just feeling sorry for myself. I'll eat loads of crap food. You know, my head will be in the fridge all night. I'll be wanting to order a takeaway or something like that. And it's just that negative spiral. It's horrible. But like if you're doing another job, another trade or something like that, or like I keep saying, like, you know, calling any sort of trade out, if you have a bad day, at least you've done some exercise. At least like your body's worked itself. At least you've moved. Like this is why this job is so unhealthy. I don't know anybody that can deal with a negative day and do it so that, you know, like, oh yeah, I've just lost 2 hours. I'm just going out on a run and I'm just eating a salad. I'm just going to have a green juice for my tea. That's bullshit. If there's anybody out there that can do that, I need you to, you know, if you're in this chat and you can do that, come and say hello, because I can't do it. I literally can't do it. Right, here we go. I'm going to call this out now. This Tom Hoggard. Who the hell's Tom Hoggard? Martin Rosser. Stop calling people out on my stream. Tom Hoggard, that's the twice it's happened, and I don't recognise you, okay? This is the wrong stream to be calling gurus out in, let me tell you. I am coming for you, Tom Hoggard. Somebody in the chat not long ago was saying that they'd had a long on the DAX and it had come from Tom Hoggard's Telegram. Now, Tom Hoggard, I will find you. Okay, I'm sorry to sound like Liam Neeson. I will find you. I will. And I'm coming to see you. Nobody makes money all the time. And Tom Hoggard, you might make money, you might be a good trader, but please, stop trying to sliver people in my group. This is the group where we don't try and sell services. This is the group where we don't offer guru services, okay? This is the group where we're just a community of good traders or retail traders. Maybe not good traders, that might be the wrong word to use, right? But this is the group where we don't do that. We're not after slivering people for money and subs fees in here, okay? So keep your slimy mitts off the people that are in here, okay? That belongs on Twitter, that stuff does. Go on Twitter and sliver them on there with all the snake bit. Tom Hoggard. Bloody hell. I'm coming for you, Tom, by the way. I'll come and have a look later on. You've got me interest now. I'm coming to see you. Jesper Lund, he doesn't sell anything. Okay, brilliant. Fantastic, Jesper. Comedy gold, this is, Mark. Can you believe it? The only stream where I'm calling scammers out and people that are trying to sliver people. And people are trying to do it. People are trying to do it in the stream live. You may be pleasantly surprised. Thanks, Martin. Thanks for that. I'll be in later. Thanks, Martin and Jesper. Lovely. You two guys have been in here every day so far. I've recognised you. You both have been at the top of the chats every day. You know, Jesper and Martin and Tom Hoggard, you all sound like you could relatively be living in the same country, let's say. It's very interesting that we've got 3 Norwegians in here this morning, all punting Tom Hoggard to be this top trader. I don't know. Maybe this stream's just big in Norway or Denmark this morning. I don't know. Fair play, though. If you do want to follow Tom Hoggard, whoever he is, and go in his room, go for it. If he's making money, go for it, guys. Denmark. Right, Jesper, okay. We beat you in the football, though, Jesper, didn't we? Sorry about that. We're just better at football. Us English lads. Us English lads are definitely better at football than you Danish guys. Do you remember that when we beat you in the Euros? I do. It was good. Felt really good. I need to be careful here, by the way, because some of these Danish guys look like Vikings, to be honest with you. I wouldn't want to fall out with any of them. It'd probably do me in, to be fair. Maybe I should just be quiet now. I would suggest, guys, right, that this is what I want to get into, everybody, right? He's wearing shades in his profile pic, must be alleged, right? So he's got the shades on then, so nobody can really see what he looks like. like a profile picture on that game. Guess who? Sam. I want to personally thank Tom Hoghard for helping me leave my 9 to 5 and fund the life I could have never dreamed of. Yeah, thanks, Tom. Guys, this is what I'm saying to you, right? About everybody. If anybody's doing it live, brilliant, fantastic. But trading is all your own game, really. Like all I'm doing on here is just trying to show you my lives, okay? I'm not trying to in any way say that what I'm doing is better than anybody else. It's not. All I'm trying to do is just show you how I'm running a live account up. I'm not trying to say like you should trade my strategy. You should trade like me. Like I'm like this is what I'm doing, because this is where this all leads to. And it all leads to eventually him taking money off you, okay? So, this is what I'm not trying to do. I'm not trying to like drum up this account and then say, oh, actually, I will take you onto my private Telegram. Join me on there, but it's $50 a month for these signals because I've been making money. Like, that's not what it's about. So if this guy's doing it for free forever, and he's been doing it for free, fair play. But I don't think that's what will happen. Call a few trades out live, get a few right. Next thing you know, you're packaged into a Telegram group, and it's £50 a month. Okay. So just be very cautionary with it all. This is great, Mark. Keep it going, Jesper. Thanks, Jesper. Martin Ross's sitting in the sun and enjoying my stream in Spain. Nice one, Martin. I wish I was sitting in the sun in Spain and enjoying the stream. I'm sat in a bedroom with a blind shut and it's pissing down outside, just on the border of Stoke-on-Trent, feeling like I'm not winning in life and you guys are, to be honest with you. So maybe I need to join Tom Hoghard's group by the sound of it. Could be life-changing. Oh, he offers a signal service, does he? Oh, right, Dave. Thanks for pointing that out. Interesting. I would have never guessed he offered a signal service. Never would have guessed that. It's absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. I've seen it all now. I think that might be it. I might just give all this up, this trading stuff. It might just be time to call it a day on all of it and go and get a proper job. Jesper, but it's free. He's not charging. Jesper, come on, man. Why are you trying so hard to shield this guy, Jesper? That's like 7 or 8 times now that you've come on here. Seriously, he's got same beliefs as you. Thanks, Jesper, and I agree with you. And it's great that you're so motivated. Jesper's so motivated this morning to get everybody into Tom Hoghard's group or whatever it is. Okay, very motivated, Jesper is. Now, could that just be Jesper's personality, that he's trying to promote another man, another man's service so heavily this morning on Friday morning? Or is it just that Jesper could actually be Tom Hoghard? I know, he is trying the hard sell. Jesper, you sound like me that was trying to sell one of my cars back in the day. Like, please buy, it's such a good run. It drives lovely. It comes with a full service history. Everything works. I offer a money back guarantee. It's absolutely amazing. It comes with an amazing warranty that will never let you down. Like, Jesper, come on, man. Jesper, sell me this pen. No, do what you want, sorry. Thank you, Jesper. I think we all will do anyway. How much are you getting per referral, Jesper? Hey, up, we've got somebody else in now. Oh my god. Somebody else who we've never seen in this chat's coming, right? FLQ DBO, right? Tom H is legit. He doesn't sell the service, he just shares his trades live. We're getting overrun with these Danish guys this morning. Do you know what, guys? I'm going to go and eat a Danish bacon sandwich this morning. And I'm going to dedicate that sandwich to Tom Hoghard. Okay, as I'm heating it, I'm going to take a big bite out of it, and I'm going to dedicate that bite, that lovely, lovely crisp bite of Danish bacon, to Tom, and celebrate that Tom is the best trader on YouTube and Twitter. I'm with you guys. It's unbelievable. I can't believe it. I wouldn't mind, right, but I've not seen any of these guys in here before, that's the thing, so that's why I'm calling it out. I don't recognise any of them. So even if they've just been lurking, like, it still doesn't make sense. I know. This Tom Hogarth's got more YouTube accounts than frickin'. Here we go. Now he's going into Brexit. Oh, come on. He's getting into Brexit now. Brexit didn't isolate you guys on the internet, sorry. Excuse me, dude. How do you know that everybody in this stream's from England? We have multi-nationalities on this stream, thank you very much. Okay, we even have people from Australia. America, Australia, Germany. So, excuse me, Brexit isn't isolating them guys, is it? And if you haven't noticed, we are all online. And I don't think Brexit really sort of gets in the way of people communicating socially online. Just trying to make that point, Jesper. Unbelievable, though. Brexit, I know. He's moved into Brexit now, Dave. He's gone from shilling Tom to telling us we're all a bunch of dicks for voting Brexit. Let me just say this. I didn't vote Brexit. I don't think I voted against it. I missed the polling station date, I think. I think my wife did, though. Latin Americans too. Portugal. Half Glaswegian from Sydney. Change, what a combo that is. I like that. Half Glaswegian from Sydney. So were you born in Sydney then, Change? Is one of your parents Scottish? I blame Brexit for every losing trade. It's unbelievable. Can't wait for Martin Lairk to join the chat. Jesus Christ. What is going on? This is the wrong stream to do this in, though, guys. To be shilling somebody in. It really is. It's the only stream that will actually say, I'm not interested in any of that. It's just complete rubbish. Lost my parents' life savings with Tom. Oh God, can confirm he's legit. Dave's in the Bahamas. Nice one, Dave. Are you really, Dave? Talk to me if you are. I'm coming to see you. Bloody hell. As you can see, the top of that balance is getting lifted now. Let's see what happens. I'll say this though, right guys, this is something that I can add. Let's just change it back to technical again. On days when we've seen both sides of balance, and what I mean by is although we haven't closed through this side of balance here, on days when we've been through this side and then we've been through this side and failed, so we've seen a failure to go through this side, we've seen a failure to go through this side, I'm a lot more careful on this entry, on this pullback. So if we go through here, I would like us to go through this high now. It wouldn't just be a case of, if we don't take this high out here, and we just sort of like go like this, on this pullback, I wouldn't be too interested in taking a long. I need it to extend past this high, and then rotate down, and then I'd get long. Active FX is long the DAX. Dave, are you in Stafford? Wowzers. You're dead close to me then, Dave. Really close. Message retracted. Dave, maybe you didn't want everybody to see that and I just called it out. Sorry about that. That got retracted faster than one of my trade calls, Dave. Yorkshire lad living in Jerryland. Right, Dan. Bishu, DAX 15226. Are you trading futures, Bishu? Active FX is along the DAX. Nice one. Nothing for me though yet. Let me just log into my account and have a look. See what's going on the old live. Yeah, I can see why people are getting long though. I really can. It could be worth a punt here, definitely. But it just wouldn't be something that was fitted into my strategy. But I can definitely see the reasoning behind it. Let's have a look at the 1 hour chart now and see if it's stiffened up any since it's probing that low. Yeah, so you can sort of see now, can't you, that we've broken the top of balance. We've reclaimed this low, gone through and closed back above. This thing could really push on. It really could. But it's just not part of my strategy to be long at this point here. It's not. I would need a push through this high really, and then a pullback. Message redacted. My national insurance number is PE. Thanks, Jesper. Thanks for that. No, participate in the chat, Jesper. I'm not saying don't participate in the chat. You're welcome to. Honestly, I mean, I'm not saying, like if you've been in here or whatever, and you've been on here watching, then brilliant. I don't mean to be so offensive or come across as offensive. My point is that this isn't where we sort of like point to other people to point to, like a shilling group or a Telegram group or something like that. If people want to find Tom Hoggard, they can go and do that. But obviously, we're just not trying to do that in here, okay? That's not me trying to be a dictator or anything like that. But the whole point of this is that we don't want to be trying to shill anybody anything, okay? So if you've been watching and stuff, great stuff, right? And take part in the chat. Come and say hello every day if you're in here. Brilliant, good lad. I appreciate you watching. But I just don't want people like trying to promote other services, especially when it all sounds a bit shilly. Okay, so that's my point, Jesper. But thank you very much, and thank you for pointing that out and saying, that. I appreciate it. All right. Dante's favourite, the old swing failure pattern on the low. Yeah. Would that be one of Tom's though, Sierra? He has weird rules, Tom does, for that. I don't know if it would be. I think does he measure? Does that fit Tom's criteria? That's something that I don't know. I never did Tom's SFP course thing. But would that fit his criteria? Because doesn't he measure the bounce? Does he measure the leg into it and then the leg out of it? And then I think he measures one of these legs. I think it's the leg out of it he measures, and it has to be a certain amount of a certain size or something. Does this fit his criteria? If it does, let me know if you've seen it. Mark Young. Yeah, the dictator. Oh, here we go. Again. I don't even follow him, but I learned from him when I used to. Okay, mate. Tom, are you in here watching this? If you are, let me know. Is this a valid SFP? He won't be in here. He'll be sat on his couch reading a book with all crumbs all over him. Probably. Yes, he does SFP wise. Yeah, he does measure it, doesn't he? Can Sam tell me? Sam trades Tom's strategy. Sam, you know Tom's SFP strategy. What's the criteria of it, bud? Would that be classed as an SFP proper leg up and down? If you're still listening, Sam. I don't know. I'm not sure if it does. I don't know the exact criteria of it, and I'd be lying if I did. But it looks you've got the candle. The candle's in play because it's taken the level and then we've closed back through. But whether or not this measured leg, these two measured legs here fit the criteria of something else, I don't know. Hey Mark, CA. Hey CA, how you doing? No shilling, but if anyone's after a good hand job at a reasonable price, I need to restore my capital. I'm in change. I would be in. If you lived local, I'd be in, buddy. Trust me. Depends what price. It depends what you call a reasonable price, though. But I'd be in. I think so. I'd be up for that. It's Friday. Why not? Yeah, he doesn't. Abe, so AB, are you going for a beer later on? Are you going down the Queens? I might pop down this afternoon if you're going down. Maybe. Not for anything crazy, but just maybe for one or two Moretti's, a few scoops. Finish the week off. Also depends how many times it's been back to the low. Yeah, that's a good point, Steve. I think this is its first hit into that low, though. Because this is the low that we're using here. So that, for me, is the low. And it's the first time it's been seeing that level as there. So this would be the first point that it's hit. See you Monday. See you Monday, Bishu. Have a good weekend, pal. Take care. Thanks for taking part. Kodachrome, any recommendations? I literally got liquidated on that YM bottom earlier. Let's just have a look, see if we can help him out. Kodachrome. Let me see. So you've Kodachrome, right? So stay with me. So you've been liquidated in here. Yeah? So this is the bottom. The Friday the 1st in the UK time, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. UK time. You've just been liquidated. What do you mean by liquidated, dude? Does that mean stopped out? Have you got any money left? Where were you long from? Help us out so we can help you. Where were you long from, dude? What was your entry point? Where was your stop? Have you been liquidated as in you've got no money left at all in your account? Because if that's the case, there's nothing that we can do. I would, those two wicks down there, these here. What? Okay, Kodachrome. What chart are you on, bud? 15 minute, 5 minute, 1 hour? Give me the chart so we can get the right chart up. Yes. What chart then, dude? Am I looking at the right chart now? Is it a 5 minute, 10 minute, 15 minute, 1 hour? Way too high up. What, your entries are way too high up? No hard stop. So you've been like your account's been liquidated then. I don't know what to say to you, dude, but 1 hour, okay. So for me, right, just don't, this is not investment advice of any sort, and obviously I'm not trying to tell you what to do. But you've been stopped out. If you're trying to get long in here and your stop's gone underneath this low, you've been stopped out the trade, haven't you? So what you thought was going to happen, like your stop, right? If you're long in here, you've expected that we wouldn't go. If your stop's here, you've obviously expected that we wouldn't have gone down there, else you wouldn't have put your stop there. So I would say do nothing because you've been stopped out and you've been wrong on your trade idea. So the worst thing you can do now is jump back in again, because you might get stopped out again. Nobody really knows if this is going to go back up. My point to you, Kodachrome, is your entries. If you're expecting this to go wrong here, your entries have been wrong, haven't they? So you've been wrong. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not trying to sound like an idiot, but you've been proven that your context of your trade was wrong because you've been stopped out and you've been liquidated. Now it might be different if your stop has been liquidated by your broker for some reason and you were in long and you were expecting this level to hold. Then that might be different. Buy the dip and buy the dip. Right, okay. It's a Kodachrome, it sucks. I know exactly what you're doing here. But I would suggest that this could be a major inflection point of a low in the market here, and we could well push up here. But I don't think that helps you out by telling you to get back in the market and trade again. I think if you've been stopped out and you've done your risk, it doesn't really matter what the market's going to do now, buddy. It doesn't. You've been stopped out. You've done your risk for the day or the week or the month. I don't know how much money you've lost. But the worst thing that you can do back now, and it will probably go all the way back up now, and you'll feel like absolute shit. But the worst advice that I could give to someone would be to get back in when they've done their account. I just think that you're probably better off taking a break and not doing nothing. And making sure that when you do get your money back into your account, you're not in this frame of mindset where you're buying the dip and buying the dip and buying the dip with no stop. Does that make sense to you? I'm sorry I can't be any more honest than that with you, and I do appreciate you being honest and coming on here. I was long from yesterday's close based on the GEX DIX, right? So you were long in here then on the close, right? Okay, so that makes sense. That does make sense. You're trying to long the close. You thought yesterday was going to be the low, so you're long in here then. And you're thinking that this low is going to hold. Okay, right. So Kodachrome. So let me just help you out with that. I think you stop. You put your stop underneath this low here. I can see what you've done. I think this guy is actually struggling. Right. So let's have a look at this chart in context. Can everybody have a look at this? Right. He's got long on the close, the market close last night, expecting that to be like the low, basically, and is to rotate back up overnight. And you can see that he's put his stop underneath this low here. Now we've gone down there and taken his stop, and then we've spiked that low and we've spiked back in. And what he's trying to say is, what does he do now? He's been liquidated. Should he get long again? I can see the exact trade setup, what you've done there. You weren't expecting us to gap down again overnight. You were expecting on the close for us to pump back up. And you put your stop right underneath that low, and you've been stopped out by this wick. It all makes sense, right? I just think that you've lost that trade, Coda. You've lost it. You've lost that trade, haven't you? Like what you were seeing last night on the close and what you were feeling last night on the close hasn't worked out, but it just means that you've lost that trade. Now, have you over-risked that trade? By the sounds of things, maybe. But you've been stopped out. So this context here now, this morning, we've wicked this low, like you say, that's a completely new trade setup. I don't know your position financially. I don't know your position of account. I don't know how much money you've done. If you haven't been liquidated and you've not lost all of your account, and you can afford to get back into the market here and your account's still there, then this would be a viable trade setup, wouldn't it? You could get back in long here with a stop beneath this low. But that's a whole new trade on a different day with completely different context. If that's not happened though, and what's happened is and it sounds like you've been liquidated and you've done your account in, then this makes no difference to you today. I would walk away and not do anything. I would. Can it go back up here? Yes, it can. But if you've done your risking, buddy, you need to probably walk away today and come back and take it on the chin. It's one of them, and people can get on, like you can get on someone's back and stuff like that, but this guy will know. He'll know, guys, he's done the wrong thing here. He will do. See you later, Dave. Thanks for checking in, buddy. Have a good weekend. He'll know he's done the wrong thing. You expected that yesterday was the major bottom. Coda, right, so you're wrong though, dude. We're all wrong, like this is the thing, we're all wrong. Wrong all the time, but that's the thing, right? You can be wrong, but by keeping your risk in check, it doesn't mean that it kills your account. So I would suggest that next time you just you get your risk sorted out, because that's the key to any trading, any profitable trading long term. I don't know many people that are all over the place with the risk on their account that have lasted more than a year, let's say, in this game, because it always catches up with you eventually. So have a look at it, Coda. I don't know what we can say to you. I'm sorry that that's happened, buddy, but this is the market. This is how it acts. the words were right, so he's saying that you've expected that yesterday was the major bottom, but there's only probability in this game. We can't expect anything. You've always got to expect that potentially you could get stopped out, because that's a massive possibility with every trade. You've got to have some risk management, as Nick's pointing out, definitely. You definitely have. That's the key to any strategy. Thanks for your advice. Yeah, no worries. At the end of the day, Coda, thanks for coming on and being honest, dude. At the end of the day, on that specific trade, where would you have set the stop? You know what, Coda? If you're expecting it, this is the problem, right? If you've got into there on the close and you're expecting this to go up overnight, you could probably have said that you would have put your stop underneath this low, or you would have put your stop underneath this low. So just because this has wicked this low now and it looks like it's going to go up doesn't mean that was the wrong place for you to put your stop last night, because you're only seeing all of this current price action in hindsight. Like last night, that if you thought that this was going to be the low, your stop would have gone underneath here or here, obviously. So your stop wasn't wrong, dude. It's just that you weren't right. That's my opinion. I don't think your stop was in the wrong place. Does that make sense? But respect the honesty for coming on here, dude, and putting it out. I don't know what your strategy is, pal, either, Coda, but that low yesterday for me, I would have been expecting that low to at least get tested. Now, if that's not part of your strategy, then it doesn't make any difference to you. But I was just thinking that low would get tested last night. Aaron said that too, yeah. You would have expected that low to get tested, I would have. I was thinking that last night, especially with how we closed and stuff. But Coda, we all get trades wrong, pal. We do. Everybody in this room will have been wrong a trade this week. Will have had a losing trade this week, I imagine. The issue is the risk, pal. Like if you're getting liquidated on one trade, there's something wrong with your risk. You must have risked way too much. So that's not acceptable. You need to stop that. You need to stop risking as much per trade. You know, like if your account's getting liquidated on one trade, there's something seriously wrong there, dude. That's not how you trade long term. It's not. You've got to respect risk. Anybody can be wrong any day. Okay? I hope that helps for next time. I'm going to call it a day though, guys, here, because my mouth's getting dry and I fancy a cup of tea. I've been on for 1 hour 37. I think this is the longest one. Longest live stream today. But I really appreciate it. I just want to say to everybody, I really appreciate everybody checking in. And it's nice, guys. I'm happy. I think we've got a good little community here. I appreciate everybody coming in and saying hello. I really do. It's a massive positive to my mindset. It's a massive positive to my trading. And I can see from the emails and the DMs that I'm getting that it's helping other people out as well. And it's good. It's positive. So it's something that I'm really thankful of. And I say it again. I really do thank you for stepping in and saying hello. Even if you're not saying hello and you're just watching, I really am thankful, honestly, from the bottom of my heart. It's good. And it keeps me honest with all of you guys. It keeps my mentality in check. I feel more positive about everything because I think that we're doing something good potentially and trying to help people out who are struggling. And that means more in karma than anything. So, all right, but I'm going to get off, guys. But thank you very much, honestly. It's been good. Coda, have a look at it, pal. Don't beat yourself up. You've had a bad day, right? We've all had bad days. We've all done our arse, okay? Keep your chin up. Don't think you did anything wrong, really. If you haven't liquidated your whole account, I don't think you've done anything wrong. I just think you've had a losing trade. It happens, but it happens, pal. It does. We all lose. We all lose all the time. So don't worry about it. Just don't risk too much. And if Martin, thanks, good. Martin Rosser, thank you. John Waddle, thanks, John. Thanks, Aldasar. Thank you very much, Dan. Thank you. It's been a good week, guys. Thanks, Marco. Thank you very much for everybody watching, and I'll see you back here Monday. Have a lovely weekend, everybody, and take care of yourselves. Take care. Thank you.